I'm going to give you one last chance to stop being so blasphemous, Scottie Pippen. Michael Jordan or LeBron James? Better, who are you going with?
Well, I'm going to go with Michael Jordan.
Okay.
But statistically, LeBron James is a better basketball player.
Time. Jordan played with another all-star with Scottie Pippen. He took the Pistons 7 games. Pippen had a migraine in Game 7, scored 2 points in 40 minutes, so they lost. He never didn't win the finals again in under 7 games.
And Michael Jordan are sitting at the same dinner table. Some people like to drink Ciroc, others like to drink Hennessy. I'm a Hennessy type guy.
This is it. The debate that's consumed barbershops, locker rooms, and social media timelines for nearly 2 decades. The argument that's broken friendships and started family feuds. Michael Jordan versus LeBron James. The GOAT conversation. And today, we're settling this once and for all. Let's get one thing crystal clear right from the jump. This isn't about disrespect. This isn't about tearing anyone down. But here's the thing. There can only be one GOAT. One greatest, one undisputed king. And the basketball world has been split down the middle for years, with newer generations riding for LeBron and the old heads standing firm with Jordan. So who's right? Who actually deserves the crown? The case for LeBron seems simple on the surface. The numbers are staggering. The longevity is unprecedented. At 36, he's still dominating at a level that would be the peak for most players. He's got the stats, the championships, the accolades. He's been to 10 NBA Finals. He's the all-time leading scorer. He does everything. Scores, rebounds, assists, defends when he wants to. He's the most complete player we've ever seen.
He fills the stats up across the board, night in and night out. You're talking about a kid who can easily average a triple-double if he chooses.
That's coming from Scottie Pippen himself, a man who played alongside Jordan for all 6 championships. And even he acknowledges what LeBron brings statistically. That should tell you something. When one of Jordan's closest teammates admits LeBron fills up the stat sheet in ways Jordan didn't, you have to pay attention. But here's where the conversation takes a turn, because Pippen follows that up with something crucial. When it's winning time, when the game's on the line, when you need someone to close, he's still picking Michael every single time. And that's not just loyalty talking, that's experience. That's knowing what greatness looks like when everything's on the line. The Jordan argument isn't built on nostalgia, it's built on an undeniable truth. Perfection when it mattered most. 6 championships, 6 finals MVPs, never took a series to 7 games once he had help, never lost in the finals, not once. That's not just good, that's not just great, that's mythical. Even Scottie Pippen, when pressed about LeBron's numbers and statistical dominance, admits the bottom line. He loves LeBron dearly, respects what he brings to the game, appreciates the way he plays, but there's always that but at the end. And what comes after that but is everything.
You love him dearly. You love him dearly, but he's not MJ.
No, he's not MJ.
Well, then you gave, here, Jordan, here's an all-star. He won the finals in under 7 games and put up numbers the likes we've never seen.
Think about that for a second. Jordan's Bulls never needed 7 games to close out a championship. The first time Jordan played with another all-star, Scottie Pippen, they took the bad boy Pistons to 7 games in 1990. Pippen had a migraine in Game 7, scored 2 points in 40 minutes, and they lost. Fair enough. But after that, after Pippen hit his stride, Jordan never lost in the finals again. In a full season, once he had his crew, once he had the pieces around him, dominance. Pure, unfiltered, undeniable dominance. LeBron's been to 10 finals. That's incredible. That shows sustained excellence, the ability to carry teams, the capacity to elevate everyone around him. But he's also lost 6 times. And while we can give him a pass for some of those losses, the 2007 Spurs massacre when he was carrying nobodies, the 2014 Spurs when his body was breaking down, the 2017 and 18 Warriors super team, the losses still exist. The 2011 Mavericks series still happened. And that's not taking anything away from LeBron's greatness, but it's acknowledging that when you're measuring someone against perfection, the imperfections become glaring. The competition argument always comes up in these debates. LeBron supporters love to point out that he faced more Hall of Famers, more super teams, more impossible odds. The Warriors dynasty, the Spurs machine, Kevin Durant's Oklahoma City. But let's pump the brakes and examine what Jordan faced. The Bad Boy Pistons, the most physical team in NBA history, designed specifically to hurt Jordan. The Riley Knicks with Anthony Mason and Charles Oakley throwing bodies around. The Reggie Miller Pacers. These weren't cupcake teams. These were legitimate contenders built to stop greatness. And let's talk about the era for a second. The physicality of 80s and 90s basketball was on another level. Hand-checking was legal. Hard fouls were encouraged. The league hadn't implemented the defensive rule changes that opened up the game. Jordan was getting brutalized every night and still dropping 30-plus points on elite efficiency while playing all-NBA defense on the other end. That's different than what LeBron's experienced, and it's not disrespectful to acknowledge it. The game evolved, the rules changed, and with those changes came different challenges. Scottie Pippen himself points out that Jordan would have killed in today's era because of how different the defensive game is. A lot of guys from that era would have dominated even more with modern spacing and freedom of movement. The physicality mattered. The roughhouse tactics mattered. The Detroit Pistons literally created the Jordan rules, a defensive scheme designed solely to hurt and intimidate Michael, and he still won.
He would have killed. But a lot of guys would have killed in this era because it's a different game. Defensively, it's different. The physicality of the game.
I think about the road to prosperity that Michael Jordan had to travel, about what Michael Jordan had to endure because of the physicality of the game, the rules that were allowed, some of the things that they did in terms of hand checking and all that stuff, but just the physicality that they allowed overall. And LeBron didn't have that issue. When I think about, I'm not talking about the finals.
Stephen A. Smith breaks it down perfectly here. The rule changes matter. The evolution of the game matters. LeBron entered the league right as the NBA was legislating physicality out of the game, right as the emphasis shifted to offense and spacing. Jordan dominated in an era where defenses could maul you, where you couldn't clear out space the way modern players can. That context is crucial. But the LeBron camp has a valid argument, and it's a valid one. Every generation raises the bar. Every legend sets a new standard that the next generation has to meet or exceed. Jordan followed Magic and Bird and Kareem. He stood on their shoulders. And LeBron? LeBron had to follow Jordan. And to his credit, LeBron largely delivered. 4 championships with 3 different franchises. He's exceeded almost every expectation we could place on him. Almost. Here's where the rubber meets the road, though. Who was better when they were at their absolute best? Who was most unstoppable? Who was most feared? Who did more with what they had? The answer, as much as it might hurt LeBron fans to hear it, is Michael Jordan. Peak Jordan is the highest level of basketball ever played. The 1991 to 1993 three-peat Jordan, who was scoring champion, MVP, and DPOY candidate. The 1996 to 1998 second three-peat Jordan, who proved he could do it all over again. The competitive fire that bordered on psychotic, the killer instinct that made opponents quit before the game even started, the clutch gene that had him begging for the ball when everything was on the line. LeBron's the better facilitator. He's got the better all-around statistical profile. His career will end with more total points, more total assists, more total accomplishments in terms of volume. But greatness isn't always about volume. Sometimes it's about what you did when you had the chance, how you performed when the lights were brightest, whether you delivered when your team needed you most.
Scoring and taking more shots. How is LeBron James any different than Scottie Pippen?
He's not much different. He's not. He has more opportunities, and he's the leader. He don't have a guy that is better than him on the court offensively. So all the offense is catered through LeBron James.
I'm thinking about the scoring championships of Michael Jordan, the NBA championships of Michael Jordan, the killer instinct that was Michael Jordan. LeBron, it's no disrespect whatsoever. I think he's the greatest in the game today. I take LeBron at his best, and I take Michael Jordan at his best. I would want Michael Jordan every day and twice on Sunday. Over LeBron James. And that's
the crux of it. When you need a bucket, when you need a stop, When you need someone to take over the game and impose their will, you're taking Jordan. Not because LeBron can't do those things. He can, and he has. But because Jordan did it more consistently, more ruthlessly, more completely. The debate about who had the harder road will rage on forever. Rich Paul and the LeBron camp will argue that following Jordan's impossible standard was harder than anything Jordan faced. The Jordan loyalists will counter that the physical brutality and competitive gauntlet of the 80s and 90s was unmatched. Both sides have merit. Both sides have truth. But at the end of the day, when you're talking about the greatest basketball player of all time, you're talking about the player you'd want to build a franchise around, the player you'd want taking the last shot, the player who defines excellence in their era. And that player, by every meaningful measure that matters when winning is the goal, is Michael Jeffrey Jordan. LeBron James is the second greatest player in NBA history. That's not an insult, that's an honor. Out of tens of thousands of players across 75 years of NBA basketball, being number 2 is incredible. It means you're better than Kareem's 19 All-Star elections and 6 MVPs, better than Magic's 5 championships, better than Kobe's killer mentality and 5 rings, better than Bill Russell's 11 championships in 13 years, better than Wilt Chamberlain's 50-point scoring average season and 100-point game, better than every single legend who's ever touched a basketball, except one. Stephen A. Smith breaks down the absurdity of the disrespect perfectly. He's got LeBron ahead of a 19-time All-Star, 6-time MVP, 6-time champion in Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He's got LeBron ahead of Bill Russell, who won 11 championships in 13 years, ahead of Wilt Chamberlain, who once averaged 50 points for an entire season and scored 100 in a single game, ahead of Magic Johnson, the greatest point guard ever, with 5 championships, ahead of Kobe Bryant with 5 rings. The list goes on and on. LeBron's ahead of all of them. The debate was never about LeBron's greatness. It's about whether he's better than the one man standing above him.
Person that I would want over LeBron James in the history of basketball.
And that one is Michael Jordan, the greatest to ever do it, the undisputed GOAT. This debate isn't disrespecting LeBron. It's putting both legends in their proper context and acknowledging that while LeBron reached the summit Jordan established, Jordan still stands alone at the peak. 6 championships, 6 finals MVPs, never lost when it mattered, never needed 7 games, the greatest winner in basketball history, the most dominant peak performance the sport has ever seen, the killer instinct that separated good from great from legendary. Michael Jordan is the GOAT. The debate is over, and LeBron James being the clear number 2, that's still legendary company.